Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Northern Home Garage. Today's the day. Today's the day we bring that into the garage so we can start disassembling it. First video I made was at the beginning of August, so right now we're at the end of August. Haven't had much time to even look at it with all the other videos and stuff I've been doing. So why don't we go grab the tractor, put that in the bucket, and bring it into that garage. And we'll keep it there probably for the next couple months while I work on and disassemble it. So let's do it. She's in. There we go. For all the rusty bolts and nuts, I've been using Delco penetrating fluid. Really good stuff, so we're just going to give them another shot. Okay, we're just gonna let that sit about 5 minutes and then we'll get at her. Well, there she is. That was exciting. Not. Pretty interesting setup. There was a bearing pressed onto there. Another one on the other side. So I'm pretty pleased with the way this looks. It's great, gives me really good access to the center nut on there. So let's take that apart. That was extreme wishful thinking, hoping that the unit would just come right off. But there's a keyway inside and it's seized right on the shaft. And there's no way to pull it because there's no flange to pull with a puller. So what I'm going to do is we're going to remove this bolt, take this top plate off, see if we can gain access in here. This pulley should be fairly easy to remove with a bit of heat and a 3-jaw puller. That should be no problem. And once we have this off, we can check to see what we have back there. I'll unbolt this as well, and then we'll see if we can strip everything off and then pull the shaft straight out the front. Well, this is extremely exciting. So to pull that shaft out the front, it looks like I have a considerable amount of work ahead of me. I have to pull some pulleys, but to get that gear, get this pinion gear off here, I'm going to have to remove this one. And to do that, I'm going to have to remove that shaft. So even if I took the whole plate off the front, it does not look like that would get me any further. Well, I don't know, you never know. Might be an easy way out of it. Mind you, regardless, I have to take all this apart anyway because all the bearings are going to have to be changed. So, I might just call it a night and get back to it another time. All right, it's the next morning, so let's keep taking this apart. I'm really confused by these bearing holders. So I understand that they hold the bearing in. So one's on the back, one's on the front, and the bearing rides inside of it. That I understand, but what I don't understand is, so I'm guessing they're not supposed to pop off this way. But what I don't understand is how do they get the shaft on when there's one on this side, which appears to be holding it in, or it's on the inside. So yeah, I don't know if you can see that. Not only that, I've come across, if I flip the gear around here, let's see if you guys can see this. Hang on, let's see. Oh, I kind of lost it there. Right here. Right there. So that appeared to be an Allen key. Or an Allen, at one time that was an Allen key, I'm guessing. Looks like somebody had to drill it out. So there's nothing in there, and there's nothing in this hole. So I'm a little confused as to how they got this together. How is that gear staying on there? Just the keyway, I'm supposing? I'm guessing. So yeah, I can take the whole thing off, but that's not going to get me any further because I can't get the front impeller out without all this gear coming off here. So yeah, even this plate. So I can't get this plate off because the bearing's pressed in. It's in behind the plate. So did they put the plates on, then press the bearings on the shaft? I don't know, I'm really confused. It's my first time with this, guys. I've never seen these kind of bearing carriers before because I've never worked on anything agricultural or industrial like this. So all right, I'm gonna keep plugging away at it. I'm gonna see what I can do on this side here, see if I can pop this one out. That one should come off fairly easy, actually. Let's see what we... All right, maybe not. Well, I pulled a seriously amateur move. I thought I was being smart, but I think I just got myself into more trouble. So what I did is I loosened off all the Allen screws on the gears and the spacers, and the same at the back here. And then what I did is I was hitting the shaft right here to push the whole shaft out that way, so that the impeller would come out this way. Well, the impeller did come out. It came out about an inch and a half, 2 inches. But now, what it appears I have done is I have mushroomed the shaft. I mean, it's not visibly, well, yeah, it's a little visible. It appears I've mushroomed the shaft a bit, even though I was hitting it with a piece of wood and a sledgehammer. But it did slide, and then it just froze, stuck in place there. So I don't know what I'm gonna do now. There's a keyway here that I can't get out. I thought maybe if I get that keyway out somehow, it would help, but it just keeps breaking in little pieces. So yeah, and that's where I'm at. I guess my next thought is I'm just gonna take my grinder and cut the bearing off. I just didn't want to cut that spacer. That's gonna be a problem. Because what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have this shaft here. So this shaft will only go out that way. So what I need to do is hit that shaft there this way. But I don't know what's holding in this gear because I don't see, and there's no Allen key on the gear. If I can just rotate it. Yeah, there's no Allen key on the gear. There was Allen keys, like I mentioned earlier, on the spacer, but both of them seem to be missing or drilled out. So I'm really not sure what's holding that in place. Now, it's really hard to heat it in there too because I need the numbers off the bearings. So what I might just do is pop a seal off the bearing so I keep the number. This seal right here. The numbers are always stamped on there, then I can just order the bearings. So what I might do is just pop a seal off. And I think I'm gonna have to cut this bearing off. Then I'm gonna have to grind the shaft where I mushroomed it so that the gear fits back on, but I think we'll worry about that when the time comes to reassemble. So in the meantime, I don't know. All right, 10 minutes later, trying to beat it some more. All right, so what I've decided to do is I'm going to cut out the race. So I've already cut out a little section of the big race on the top. And then hopefully I'll be able to pry the cage out of it, get the bearings out of it, and then take the top piece right off. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So there's the bearing, there's the top piece of the race that I cut out. Now inside of there, you see your little rollers in the cage. So what I'm going to try and do is, I don't want to damage this piece right here, this little thing here, because this, I believe, is not part of the bearing. It's like a little spacer. So I don't want to cut this off because then I won't have the spacer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the race in the back as well. Cut the race in the front. Either one of two things. Either I can split the race, pop up on it. Now what I'm using is I'm just using a Dremel tool. And it's got a little grinder disc on the end. Well, not a grinder disc, but a cutting disc. Now it's very high speed. So when you're using this guy, you're not pushing. You don't want to push and you don't want to pry. Because the velocity at which this little disc turns, and it's a hardened disc, if that shatters while it's spinning, you could get that in the face. It could stick into your skin. So I'm just letting the tool do the work. I'm just gently letting the weight of the tool just cut through the race. And that way there's no danger. Well, there's still always danger, but less danger. And this little sucker, this cuts that hardened steel very well. So here, let me just continue cutting the back, and then hopefully this comes off. All right, so getting the outer race off worked. As you can see, I cut it up. There's the bearing cage right here with the bearings. So now I'm going to try, I know I have to try and cut this race off. I still can't get my puller in there to pull it off. So yeah, we're going to go into the back and we're going to cut her off. Well, that sucked. Okay, so now that the race is off, now my thought is, these are loose on the shaft. I haven't seen them turn independently, but I'm going to take that other bearing off. Now the whole thing, I should be able to slide it out, and these should come off the shaft. These should come off the shaft. Oh, I killed myself. Alright guys, I think that's it for today. As you can tell, it's not cooperating very well. Sometimes what you need to do is just step away from a project, get back to it another day when you're feeling rejuvenated. Right now I'm feeling a little defeated, lots of complications, really difficult to get stuff out, really rusty. So I'm going to clean up my big mess that I have here, and just got a call from a friend of mine who lives just down the road. He's installing a gas heater in his garage right now, and he needs a bit of help with the electrical, hooking it up. So watch for that video, that's going to be coming next. I'm gonna head over there right after I clean this mess up. Once again, don't forget, hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications button so that you get all my new videos that are coming out. Don't want you to miss anything. This is gonna be the end of part 2 of the snowblower rebuild. Again, thank you very much everybody for watching. I really, really appreciate it, and we'll talk to you guys soon.